Hello, my name is Paloumbis and I will be presenting the qualitative research that I conducted under the supervision of Dr. Karakitsou at the Masters of Science program in Counseling Psychology and Psychotherapy at the American College of Greece. Parental contribution to the sexuality education of their children is of great importance. Their attitudes and beliefs can shape their child's sexuality expression and overall well-being. In Greece, where prejudice, inequalities, abuse, femicides, violence against sexual and gender minorities are amongst the most pronounced in the European Union, there is a limited amount of parental sexuality education research. The aim of this study was to explore maternal perceptions and practices in educating their children aged 4 to 8 years old about sexuality-related matters. More specifically, the goal was to examine how sexuality education is perceived by Greek mothers, what meaning is assigned to it, how it affects their external and internal world, and their reflections upon it. Interpretative phenomenological analysis was used to examine in depth the experiences of the participants in relation to their internal and external world. 3 mothers of 2 children of different genders were interviewed. Individual, semi-structured, in-person 60-minute interviews were conducted in the Greek language. They were recorded and transcribed verbatim. From the analysis of the results, 3 main themes were extracted. Number 1, the timing of the initiation of sex education, with facilitating and inhibitory factors. 2, the processes of sexual education, including approach, topics, and people involved. And 3, maternal beliefs, with gender-typical attitudes and self-efficacy perception. Timing of initiation included facilitating and inhibitory factors. On a macro level, mothers believe that the era that we live in calls for an earlier onset of sex-related discussions because children are nowadays more exposed to sexual stimuli via the media. But at the same time, they felt the need to protect their children's innocence from that exact overexposure. On a micro level, mothers agreed that child readiness occurs at 8 years of age, but in practice, all of the mothers had already discussed abuse prevention a lot earlier. According to moms, a child is ready when they exhibit verbal and nonverbal cues, direct sexually related questions, sexual interest in another child, physical development. But they were sad and uneasy with the fact that their child is growing older, and in denial or surprised when their children exhibited knowledge of sexually related information. In regards to processes of sexual education, the mothers preferred a sweet and tender approach, preferably with naturally occurring talks via daily activities or using books. But they emphasized the need for a scientifically based approach based on factual information. Facts, but at the same time, a huge worry about how the facts would influence their self-image. Building trust was of the utmost importance for parents in sexually educating their children, but at the same time, they were jeopardizing this trusting relationship by using myths, fiction, storytelling to describe conception. And even though they believed that using the correct terminology to describe body parts was essential, at the same time, they were using pet names to refer to their children's genitalia. They believed they could model sexuality expression, but at the same time, they would hide manifestations of intimacy in front of their children. When discussing appropriate topics, how babies are created was on the table, but the limited edition, the one without mentioning intercourse. Homosexuality was a topic that they were open to discussing. However, taking a closer look at the verbal cues exhibited that they considered such talks difficult and extreme. People involved. Mom leads and dad supports. Mothers consider themselves more competent and serious to approach such issues. But at the same time, this contradicted their low perceived self-efficacy and how they exhibited worry that they would not be good enough sex educators for their children. They also exhibited some gender-typical attitudes. The findings suggest that sex education is a fairly novel process for mothers in Greece, who continue to struggle with the implementation of it in an effective, time-appropriate, and accurate manner. Despite the limited sample, the data can contribute to the development of parental sexuality education training programs tailored specifically to the needs of parents in Greece. Not only will this prevent negative consequences, but it can also enhance love, respect, self-acceptance, and shape a safer and more inclusive society. And these are our references. Thank you.